Hello everyone, welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I'm Jackie, and I want to update you guys on what's going on with Tome Topple, since unfortunately I don't know how to do vlogs, so this is what I'm gonna do. I've been working a lot this week, so I haven't really had a chance to do a lot of reading for Tome Topple, but I've done on my off days or when I'm in bed, or like I went to the pool yesterday and I was able to read a little bit. Of course, I also had this urge to read The Raven King, Maggie C. Waters' The Raven King, because I still need to read that and finish out the series. And I just had this moment of, oh my god, I need to read that book. So I took it and started reading it yesterday. I think, or I might have started the night before. Yeah, I think I might have started the night before when I got home from work. And I am working today, but I'm off tomorrow, so I'll be able to do some more reading tomorrow. And I'm working Sunday and Monday in the morning, so I'll have the evening, or the morning into the afternoon. So, then I will have the evening hours to do some reading. My problem is, and I'm well aware of this, and I admit that this is my own fault, that I tend to get sidetracked by TV and BookTube, actually. And, going on Facebook, and then, my friend Terry will call when she's coming home from work, because, she doesn't, sometimes she doesn't like walking home from work till in the evening hours. Or, she just wants to say hi and chat. And I, of course, want to talk to her, too, so usually, I admit that it is partly my fault if I don't do enough. Well, it is completely my fault that I don't do enough reading, as much as reading as I like to. So I'm the only one who's preventing myself from reading like 10 or 20 books or more. But it does help when like I'm in a situation where I'm not tempted to turn on TV. Like if I'm in my room and I read right before I get into a show, or like I read when we go to some place, like go to hang out at the pool for a couple hours. Because then there's nothing to distract me, there's no computer, if I start reading before I turn on the TV, then... But anyway, let's get to the point of this video. And I also am going to update you guys on what I bought yesterday, because I bought 3 books. Okay, so I am still reading, unfortunately I haven't gotten into any of the other books that I wanted to read for Tome Topple, like Winter and Fall of Giants, and then there were several other books, as I've said before in past videos, there are so many big books that I haven't gotten to because they take so much time to read them for me, and I envy those people who can read bigger books. Like, just get through them really quickly. And I think that's because they've been doing it for such a long time, so it no longer takes them that much time. When I've only read, like, before, when I was younger, I only read the Dragonlance books, and that was it. And then, of course, Harry Potter, those, as the series progressed, the books just got longer and longer, but as I've said in the past, that I feel like YA books, you don't really pay attention to the length, and the print in the editions that I have, the print is not small, and that doesn't help either. So I'm mostly focused on these 2 books still. Mistborn, which is good because I've had this one for a long time now, and I kept debating about getting rid of it, but there were people, I was constantly hearing about how great Juliette Marillier is, and Sam from Sam's Nonsense would bring it up on her channel quite a bit, so finally I was like, you know what, I need to start reading this book, so I decided to read for Tome Topple, and I am on chapter 6 now, and there's, I think, 16 chapters, so I got 10 more chapters to go. So this is a retelling of the fairy tale about the Swan Prince, the 7 Swan. I don't actually know. I mean, I'm sure if I looked up, because I have a collection of Grimm's fairy tales, a bind up, so I'm sure I could figure it out by looking through that and finding like tale of seven brothers, or where this young princess' brothers get turned into swans, and she has to make these shirts for each one of them, that out of with a particular material that could hurt you, that can, it's not soft like silk or smooth or anything. So she has to make, and she can't talk. She's not allowed to say anything, and if she talks, then that will mean the curse will not be lifted. They'll be stuck that way. So in this one, there are some differences, such as, it's still the same basic story, but there's the added, like, they were cursed by a sorceress who married their father, and it introduces the whole Celtic mythology with the fairies and stuff, and it is the Lady of the Forest who comes to, I haven't read the fairy tale, so maybe that wasn't an added thing, but there's also their kingdom, there is at war with another kingdom, and in the beginning of the book, her brother, Finbar, he doesn't believe in their father's cause. He doesn't like how cruel and monstrous he is, and the whole idea of the warrior thing and everything. So after one of the Finbar decides, with his sister Sorcia's help, our main character, who is good with potions and herbals and medicines and stuff, with her help, they break out the father's latest prisoner, and Sorcia heals him, works on healing him. And he's going through PTSD, and it's, he doesn't trust her, or the priest in their family, who is kind of a spiritual advisor to the family. And he ends up, when Sorcia is called away, has to come home because their father has a new wife, and she is forced to leave him, abandon him, and then she finds out when Father Brian, the priest in their family, comes to their castle so he can wed their father and this woman, the sorceress. She finds out that the guy, Simon, has run away. And like I said, I'm at the part when she's making the shirts. And she has just been reunited with her brothers. Not that the spell has been broken, but her brothers, at midwinter and Midsummer's Eve, for one night, they turn back into humans temporarily. So she gets to interact with them a little bit, even though she can't speak, of course. And they try to get her to reveal what's going on, but she can't say anything, or else, if she does speak at all, then then the curse will not be lifted. So that's as far as I've gotten in the book. But I do know that at some point she's gonna get kidnapped, I think, by where Simon, the people that Simon comes from. I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm guessing. Because the Lady of the Forest came to Sorcia and told her that Simon was connected to her destiny. Like, their lives are intertwined, so I'm guessing it's his kingdom, the kingdom, or wherever he comes from. They're the people that kidnap her. So I'm really liking this book. It reminds me of Dragonlance in the writing and stuff, and I'm glad. And I love the Dragonlance book, so I'm glad I'm finally getting back into this. And when I was debating if I wanted to keep this, I wasn't sure if I would continue with it. Like, I feel like it could be a standalone, and you don't have to read the next two books in the trilogy. But I think I want to read them, if I can find them. But this might be something I'll have to rely on via the internet, because I feel like older books, there's no guarantee you'll find them. And I'm also reading, after having this for a year, I believe, or maybe 2.5 years, I have finally started reading Mistborn. And like Dawn of the Forest, I am really loving this book. So, in case you don't know, by some small chance you don't know what this book is about, this is in a fantasy world where the world is ruled by this final ruler, this Lord Ruler guy, and these group of people who are called Mistines, which is the magic system in this world, have decided to have been hired by a noble to overthrow the Lord Ruler. And in this world, the magic system involves metals. Like, if you swallow certain metals, you can do certain things with these special powers. And the group leader, Kelsier, comes across this young woman, like a teenager who can control more than one element, more than one metal. And the people that can do that are called Mistborn, hence the title. And this character and right now they're at the point where they're planning what they're gonna do and how they're gonna overthrow the kingdom, the Lord Ruler. But there is a lot of doubt. Vin's learning the magic system, and we're learning a lot about Vin's character and how she has a lot of trust issues, especially because her brother her brother's dead in the present, but he's always kind of been in her head and has kind of controlled her, and is the reason she has trust issues. He's like, you can't trust anybody. And when he died, that, like, sin, really established, because it proved to her that people will just leave her in the end. People will abandon her in the end. So she's kind of struggling with trusting Kelsier, but she also is starting to believe in his cause and thinks that they can overthrow, and there is a small chance they will succeed and that they can through the government. I'm really enjoying this book. I think the magic system is so cool and so unique, and that's why I constantly have heard every time people talk about this book, because I heard about this a lot, and that's why I ended up putting it on my Christmas list back in 2016 or 17. And my best friend Terry finally got the whole trilogy for me, which was really awesome. Because, I don't expect people to do that for me, but it was really awesome that I was able to get all 3 books, that she got me all 3 books for Christmas. Especially when she's like me, and, she works in retail, so she doesn't make a lot of money. Luckily, of course, I'm a little bit more luckier than she is. And actually, while I'm reading this book, and I think I mentioned this in the last update I did, that as I'm reading it, I'm picking actors that I want to picture for the characters. Because for some, I can't picture, when I'm reading a book and I don't have an idea in my head, like an actor in my head for what the character looks like, then I won't be picturing anything. They might even look cartoonish, or silly, or, just silly. So in case you didn't watch my update last time, I'm picturing, like, for Kelsier, I picture Jensen Ackles as Kelsier, Jensen Ackles from Supernatural, and Cameron Bakondova. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she's the one who plays Selena Kyle in Gotham. That's what I'm picturing to play as Vin. And I do know what I think I'm going with. Like, their personalities seem very similar, and I've been recently re-watching seasons 1 through 3, and I'm actually on season 3. Unfortunately, season 4 has not come on Netflix yet, since it just finished at the end of April, I guess. I don't, or maybe May. I don't remember when it usually ends. But I still have time in the case of that because the last season will not be until March, because it's been shortened, because I'm guessing that's the only way they were able to that they were allowed to get one more season if they shortened it. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. But if you are interested in Gotham, I can, update you on that. So I am really enjoying these 2 books. I have dabbled in a few other books as well. Okay, so let me update you guys on what I bought. Let me see if I can grab it without it being... Okay. Let's see, where are my books? Oh, here they are. Okay, good. So I didn't. Okay, so good. That one. I also started reading. Like I said, I'm on chapter 10 of this book, as I mentioned earlier. So I felt the urge to read this one, because it's like the last book, so I just need to finish it. Which I am in love with the series. I just love it. But anyway, so yesterday morning I went to. Unfortunately, I didn't get to spend a lot of time there because our neighbors asked me to let out their dog because one, I would just do it anyway and two, they had picked me up the night before from work. So, and it was, I got off at 8, so it was kind of a nice thing they did for me. So, our used bookstore had a sale. You buy one paperback, you get one free. So right away, I picked up 2 paperbacks, but I also saw the sequel to a book where I already bought the first one from said bookstore a few days ago. So I saw the sequel and I was like, oh, I better get this now. Because the thing about used bookstores is it takes donated books. So there's no guarantee that you're going to get, all the books you want. Sometimes they might not have the next book in the series, or they might just have a random book in the series, or a random book by this author, and then you're looking for, or like you see a book by that author that you really want, but then you're like, well, I'll get it later, and then the next time you go, it's not there anymore. Like, I've gotten a couple books from series, and I've gotten a lot of hardbacks there because the hardbacks are like $4 or $5. And I've gotten books from series that it's a later book in the series, like the Tamarier series. I bought the last book, not realizing that it was the last book in the series. So that one I'm going to have to get online, or if I'm lucky, it might show up at Books A Million. But our Books A Million is really small, so. So I got this one. For some reason, I remember hearing about this on BookTube, and I had heard about this book before, because it's a classic. And I saw this one at the bookstore, and I was like, and with the bookstore, it's one of these things where, and again, not only do you have to grab a book when you can, but it's also sometimes, it doesn't necessarily have the most exciting books that I desperately want to read, but it will have books that have caught my interest. And in that moment, I'm thinking, I want to read this book. So I will be like, I should go ahead and buy it because maybe it won't be there next time I go there. So I saw this one, and I just have the urge to buy it. I was just kind of interested in the story, and I've been trying to read more classics and just expand my reading horizons. So I saw this one. This is Lolita. If you don't know what this one is about, this is about this older man who has a crush on a younger girl. He becomes obsessed with the younger girl. That's all I know about it. And this is as you can see, it's the annotated edition. So it's an edition where another author or writer or whatever took notes and edited it a little bit so that it's easier to understand, because a lot of classics for modern audiences are kind of hard to read because of the writing style. So I saw that one, and I decided to grab it. And then, so that I could get another paperback, I saw this one, Lost by Gregory Maguire. This is one a little different than his other books, because most of his books have been fairy tale retellings. And this one is not a retelling. From what I read in the back, it's this modern-day writer finds out that she's connected to some literary figures in literature, or that her uncle was who inspired Ebenezer Scrooge, and she finds out that her uncle's house or whatever is haunted or something. And it could either be her uncle or Jack the Ripper. And it's all these ghosts might be in her uncle's house or something. And just, she has to deal with that. And I've read Wicked, and I've read a lot. The first 3 books of Wicked series. Truthfully, Wicked was my favorite. Son of a Witch was okay. Lion Among Men was not my favorite. I still have not read Out of Oz yet, but I want to, and I'm tempted to buy the whole series back, like in mass market paperback, but I keep on coming up with excuses on why not to buy it. And, I was just thinking about last night, I was like, I really only loved Wicked and his other books, but the other two, those two, A Lion Among Men and Son of a Witch, I didn't love as much. They were interesting, but, I barely remember them. Of course, I barely remember Wicked too, but I read that one so long ago. Of course, I read the other two so long ago as well, but like I said, I just remember I had a hard time getting into those two. But I do want to read Out of Oz, so who knows, maybe I'll break my rule and just buy Out of Oz and just have Out of Oz and Wicked. And if I like Out of Oz, I'll keep it, and if not, but I almost wish I had bought the edition of Wicked that was like this, with this cover, this kind of, with the picture on the inside and, all that. I almost wish I had bought, because I love that edition, but I ended up giving it away. And the mass market paperback is just easier to carry around with you, and it's cheaper, so that's the only reason why I buy those usually. But I've been to buying this. I thought this was really, I've always been going back and forth with this one. Every time I see it at a bookstore, whether it's a Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, or, because I think I've seen it before at this bookstore. So I finally, yesterday, I went ahead and bought it, especially since you buy one paperback, you get another one free, so. And then the last one this is the sequel, where I already bought the first book in the same store a couple days ago. This is, and every time I look at this cover, whether it's this one or the first one, it makes me think of Mierda from I can't remember what that movie's actually called, but the Disney movie with the character Mierda, and she's, it's in Scotland, and her parents are trying to get her to marry, and she doesn't want to, and she finds she's really angry at her mom, so she wants to change her fate, and it goes to this old crone who gives her the opportunity to do that, but accidentally she turns her mom into a bear, and it's all about her trying to find the witch again and turn her mother back into a human. And the girl on this cover reminds me of her. I love that movie. I should get that movie. That should be on my list, my Christmas list for Disney DVDs, because I love that movie. And Falconer trilogy. So there is obviously one more book, but I didn't see it. I only saw the first two. And it's, like I said, I love that I can get hardbacks at the store, that some people give away hardbacks at that bookstore, that they donate hardbacks, because, you can't get a hardback that's, most hardbacks at regular stores like Barnes & Noble and Books A Million are like $20 or more. Although I've been like, screw that, because I've, now that I have a permanent job, I've been a little more reckless about my book buying. But then my mom, every so often, she requests that I buy only 1 or 2 books. And then I've noticed that I do this thing, and she and she kind of said something to me about that, where, like, she is like, please don't buy too many books, and I don't say anything, I don't say anything, because, and she said to me the other day, I know you're not saying anything, because you'll break that promise if you make it, or you don't want to make that promise. Because I can't. I have a hard time. Although, the other day, I feel very proud of myself, and I only bought 1 book, which was Legendary, by Stephanie Garber. I was very proud of myself then. When we went to the country bookstore, and I ended up buying that book, when my mom specifically requested me to only buy 1 book. Which was very frustrating, because, again, there was another time when I thought about buying Lady Midnight, but I passed it over. And I feel really mad, because I still like Cassie Clare. And I still thought about, I still want to read some of her books. But it's like, I'm not as excited into her Shadowhunter world as I used to be. But I still want to read her books. I still enjoy her books. And, so I need to buy it. But it's really hard because I'm not as passionate about her world as I used to be. Okay, anyway, I'm going to stop here before this video gets too long. So, that's my update on Tome Topple and what I bought yesterday. So, are you guys participating in Tome Topple? What are you currently reading for Tome Topple? Or what are you just currently reading? So, please feel free to share in the comments below. And I will talk to you guys later. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you haven't already. And much love to my already subscribed viewers. I really appreciate you guys for watching me. Since I know that I'm not the most perfect booktuber ever. I do tend to still stumble on my words, and I probably should learn how to edit my videos. But I'm too lazy, and I get very frustrated when I try to learn how to figure things out on my own. And my mom and dad are not tech savvy. They don't know this stuff. So I will talk to you guys later, and bye!